The director of the Brookings Tsinghua Center for Public Policy, Wang Feng, has criticized the one-child policy, saying that it's done more harm than good. He points out that by the time the policy was formally announced, the birth rate in China had already decreased dramatically. And that leads us to our next story. 5 years ago, Chinese authorities jailed a blind, self-taught lawyer for disturbing the peace. But many people say that his real crime was defending villagers who were forced to have abortions and be sterilized as part of the one-child policy. The lawyer, Cheng Guangcheng, was released from jail last fall, and since his release, he's been kept under house arrest. Our contributor in Hong Kong, David Bendersky, tells us that social media is now galvanizing people within China.
For years now, Cheng Guangcheng has been one of the most enduring symbols outside China of the country's human rights abuses, particularly the draconian birth control policies imposed by city officials in his native Shandong. Pictured here in his signature dark sunglasses has been a constant source of friction for China in its foreign exchanges. In a typical face-off last June, the European Parliament expressed profound concern for restrictions against Chen and his family. China brushed off their concerns, saying Chen, pictured here in a video smuggled out in February, was living a normal life, and any further attempts to visit him would constitute interference in China's internal affairs. Western diplomats first tried to visit Chen in December 2010, but were shoved away by guards and forced to leave. Inside China, meanwhile, Chen's case has remained mostly unspoken and unknown until now. Just as top Communist Party leaders were meeting in Beijing this month for the political meeting of the year, a campaign on Cheng Guangcheng's behalf was taking flight online, as users on social media issued calls for justice. One example is this blog. It uses an image of Chen behind bars with the words, "Free Cheng Guangcheng." By October 13th, Beijing scholar Zhang Ming noted on his Sina Weibo account, "Free Cheng Guangcheng" has already become a flood on microblogs. The same day, the Chinese-language Global Times made the first newspaper mention of Cheng Guangcheng in China in 7 years. The editorial urged against making the Chen case ideological. The case of the blind man Cheng Guangcheng in Lini has been discussed widely in society, and there is much hearsay it began. It also accused Western media and international human rights groups of imposing their own agendas on the social problems in China's countryside. With no mention of exactly what Chen's case was about, the paper said it had been exaggerated as a mirror on human rights in China. The next day, Shanghai's Oriental Morning Post volleyed back with an editorial called "Who is Cheng Guangcheng?" It pointed out, among other things, that the 7-year silence in China over this case was itself evidence of the injustices Chen faced. Since then, China's mainstream media have been silent. Chinese continue to push on social media, even though searches for Free Guangcheng have been banned. This user writes, "None of those guys keeping people from visiting Cheng Guangcheng are the corrupt officials he's informed on. The interests he's fighting for are theirs too. But for a bit of money, they'll lock a man up without a thought. And virtual action has spilled into real action too, like these Chinese unfurling a banner on Shanghai's People's Square. Free Cheng Guangcheng. We want light, we want honesty." An old case for international human rights advocates, Cheng Guangcheng's plight has taken on fresh life in China thanks to social media, which were also successful in pushing mainstream coverage on the issue for the first time ever. Whatever the outcome of Chen's case, it's clear that many Chinese want more than just a stronger and richer country. They want a more just one, too. In Hong Kong, I'm David Bandersky for Link Asia.
Link TV is the only U.S. network dedicated to global and national news, uncompromising documentaries, and diverse cultural programs. Programs which connect you to the world. To learn more, visit linktv.org.